Mm. Okay, so today is our class number 8, and we are talking about Ubuntu philosophy. Yeah, so I'm sharing um, some screens, and this is the title, Introduction to Ubuntu Philosophy. So Ubuntu philosophy comes from South Africa originally, but the principles of Ubuntu are from everywhere in Africa, not just how popular Ubuntu philosophy is. Yeah, it's really popular, very popular in Africa in general. And we are going to explore how we can put this philosophy into practice in our everyday lives. Yeah, so here it is. Let's get started. Um, okay, so the second slide is this one here, talking about the characteristics of Ubuntu. So let me share. So here's the first, humanity. So being human means being part of the community. And this is the first point why it's so difficult for us in Brazil to leave Ubuntu, because we are not treated like humans in this society. People don't see black people as humans. We are not respected. We are killed. We are assassinated by the police. Yeah, according to the United Nations organization, every 23 minutes a black person is assassinated in Brazil. Yeah, so we don't have our humanity respected and recognized by the state, by the police, by the government, and even by the schools. So this is the first problem. Second, community. We are all connected. So in our society, we don't have this sense of community. We have a very individualistic society.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it's very difficult to live in a in a community mentality, because in Brazil people say, farinha pouca meu pirão primeiro, quem pariu Mateus falante. Yeah, we have this popular proverb which uh, emphasize individuality a lot. So it's really difficult to put this into practice. And number three, compassion. This is something very rare, very uncommon in our
Mhm.
society, because the idea is that the more um, the more self-sufficient you are, the better. So when you do things alone with no help of anybody, in Brazil, people see you as superior because
Mhm.
you don't need help, you don't need anybody. But Ubuntu philosophy defends the opposite. It defends that the more people you have connected with you, the more impact you will have in your initiative. The more people connected, the higher is the influence that you will cause. So the idea is completely different. The idea is that unity is what makes difference, and not being alone. So individuality alone doesn't make so much difference in African perspective. And that's why it is so difficult in Brazil for people to understand, value, respect Ubuntu philosophy. They think this is very old, doesn't make sense, and they don't see why it would be important to incorporate this perspective. Yeah, so that's why for many people, Ubuntu is considered utopia. They defend the idea that Ubuntu philosophy is utopia because how can you do things cooperatively or collaboratively or um, socially in a society that doesn't give importance to community? So it's really difficult to live like this. So showing kindness and empathy to other people is not so common in our society in the West, but it is essential in the Bongo. So we have the three characteristics that demonstrate how difficult it is for people to be instinctive, to be friendly, yeah. with Ubuntu. Today, what is the topic today? What is everybody talking about today? Today is July 11th. So everybody today in Brazil on Instagram is talking about the dehumanization of a black woman. Isa, she's pregnant, expecting a 7-month baby. And what did her man do? He was having a chat with another woman, disrespecting her, dishonoring her, not only her, but also his daughter, Nala, who is a baby coming. And the guy was flirting with another woman on Instagram. This is completely absurd, immoral, disrespectful. So even black people or dark skinned people, because this guy, Yuri, he's not white. Yeah, he is Latino or he's brown, but he's not white. He doesn't respect a black woman. So black people have difficulty to see the humanity of other black people. This is the reality in countries like Brazil. And Fanon talks about this, how difficult it is for black people to respect the humanity of other black people. It is a challenge for us. And to do this, we have to deconstruct our mentality. And the only way to deconstruct the colonization we have inside ourselves is to approach African philosophy, African wisdom, African tradition, African wise people like Sobunku Somé, Sheikh Anta Diop, Moleque Ketchantante, Maulana Karenga, Marimba Ani, what else? You have lots of important people in this scenario. You have Brazilian women too, like Conceição Evaristo, have a very important work talking about, she calls escrevivências, which is the idea of you becoming the center
Yeah.
of your reality. Use your reality to make yourself empowerment. I think that one of the biggest examples of self-empowerment in Brazil is Carolina Maria de Jesus, for example, because she got her history to write book, song, and verses and becomes an artist using her own reality, her own life to produce power. This is a very potent example. So we have to analyze, study, read, and approach those examples so that we can respect our power, respect our traditions, honor our ancestors. Yeah, because when we don't do this, we don't give value to what we have. So imagine you have a wife, a woman like Isa, and you will be chatting, flirting with another woman on social media. This doesn't make sense. And this is only possible when you don't know about your people, your power, your influence, your magnitudes. Yeah. So it's a double way path in this case because it's not only Yuri, but also Isa who didn't see this man completely. We have this, Bell Hooks talks about this. Black people have a lack of self value perspective. We don't know our value because the schools are racist, public policies don't talk about Africa. So because we don't know our value, normally we have a tendency to accept any type of relationship. People who don't respect us, people who don't honor us, people who have no values, no morals, no ethics. So it's very common for Black people to accept relationships that are abusive, that are inferior. So we need to approach our origin. And that's why this is so important for us. And the schools don't do this, and it's criminal, yeah, because in Brazilian schools don't talk about African heritage. So this is the introduction to this topic, humanity, community, and compassion. So these are three keywords of Ubuntu perspective, Ubuntu philosophy. So now let's go to the third screen. So in the third screen, we have another important view on Ubuntu, which is the principles. We have four pillars of Ubuntu that are essential here. The first one is dignity. And this is really, really necessary because if you don't have self-dignity, you will accept any type of treatment, any type of relationship, any type of work, any type of family, any type of friendship. We will not have criteria to determine who will have access to your life. And today we had a beautiful lesson. I think that's Isa. Flirty conversation with another woman, and that's it. So this is enough for you to stop. And Jesus doesn't see this way. He thinks that if you break trust, okay, trust, if you break trust, that's it. There is no more relationship. And this is self-dignity. This is power. So first of all, we have to respect ourselves. We should not expect respect from other people. We should be the first to respect ourselves. And this is really beautiful. So I think Isa gave us an important and beautiful lesson in this traumatic, episode. Now, second pillar, compassion, showing empathy and kindness to those in need. I use this example. Quilombo bilingue is an example of compassion because I am fluent in English. I speak English. I am an English teacher. So English is not a problem for me. So that's okay. But what about the other people? The other black people who don't have access to practicing English, don't have to study English, don't have access to an English school because in Brazil it's really expensive. Depending on the place where you live. For example, here in Rio de Janeiro, a conversation class is around 230, 300 reais every month. So it's really expensive. So I think it is a movement of compassion to share sometime in a week, once a week on Thursday, to have a moment like this to share with you in English so that we can improve our English, improve our conversation skills, our vocabulary. So this is an example of compassion. So I don't know what is your job, what you do, but you can also do the same in your different areas. My area is English, but I don't know if you have a information technology background, you can offer PowerPoint classes to community kids, for example. If you are a Portuguese teacher, you can offer composition classes, how to write a composition for a name, for example. You can do this for free for students. I don't know. So everyone should find a way to show compassion to their community. So this is Ubuntu philosophy. And what is the importance of doing this? Is that when you show compassion to other people, you receive compassion in return. Compassion is a double way path because when people receive your compassion, they will give compassion in return. Yeah, so it's very important pillar, the pillar of compassion. Now, people, we're going to the third pillar of Ubuntu philosophy, which is, I think this is one of the most important in the list, that is the pillar of respect. If you don't have respect in a relationship, you have to quit, abandon that relationship. So professional relationship, love relationship, business. relationships. So respect should come first. And also, not only receiving, but also treating others with respect. So if people don't respect you, you have to demand this respect. And if people don't give you this respect, then you should leave the relationship. Yeah. Uh, all types of relationships. And number four, I think this is the most difficult for Brazilian community because we live in a very individual and individualistic society. So community working together with other people is a pillar. Yeah. So for example, in my case, I am part of a community of teachers because I'm a teacher. I'm a part of community of parents, uh, neurodiverse parents because I am autistic and I have a autistic son. I have five spiritus presentes, which are communities for Black families. So I have different communities in my life. So what about you people? Are you part of any community? Professional community, social community, spiritual community? Are you a member of any type of community? Nobody. Wow, no
Hello,
community.
hello, teacher.
Hi.
Hello.
Ladies first, please.
Okay, Sabrina.
Um, I participei of Mulheres do Amanhã community and my community. I participated Quilombo Bilingue too
Mhm.
because I am a student here.
Yeah.
And my work too or no?
Mm.
I
Excellent.
uh, my community and I from Corrente and my job is escola estadual,
Ah, state school.
state school. Yeah.
Mm. Fantastic. Yeah. Samba schools, of course, Samba schools are communities because they promote the cultural, they promote the community inside the social group that they belong. So people learn how to do things in cooperation with others. So Samba schools are a great example of communities. Jongo groups, capoeira round two, yeah. So these are all examples of communities. Very good. So this is important for you to develop this sense of belonging. Yeah, and Black people in Brazil normally they don't have this perception that they are parts of something bigger. Yeah, so it really needs to be part of communities. This is very important for Black people in general. Okay, then next, in the next slide, we have more principles to think about. I'm going to share with you. So the first one here, okay, everyday life. So how do we uh, put Ubuntu into practice? So first of all, we have to be kind with other people. Kindness is a principle, and it's not easy. Uh, Bell Hook, she has a text called Vivendo de Amor, and in this text, she talks about how difficult it is for Black people to be kind with each other. She talks about how difficult it is for Black people to express love, not only in romantic relationships, but also love with family members, love with friends. It is very common, for example, in relationships for Black people to have difficulty to walk hand in hand. It's not easy to walk hand in hand to caress other people, say beautiful things. Yeah, we don't have this the way of expressing these feelings because racism and colonization do this to Black people. We don't have this self perception that we deserve to be loved. Yeah, so kindness, not only kindness with other people, but kindness to ourselves is something very difficult. You see, example, how many times this year, today is July, yeah, so we have one semester over, January, February, March, April, May, June. How many times this year, 2024, did you have a massage session? How many times did you give some time, some space for you to be kind to yourself, to sit down or to lie down in the bed and receive a massage by a professional? Yeah. Did you give yourself this moment of kindness and pleasure this year? Did you have a massage session in 2024, 2024? Nobody. Massage? No?
Last year, I received like a gift for my husband, from my
Oh,
husband, in my birthday. This year, we don't have anything.
yeah. You see, it is for Black people to self-love, yeah? Even if it's not by your husband, if you pay a professional to have 1 hour of massage,
Yes, he had given me like a gift in spa.
oops,
It was amazing experience. I would like to go every month.
beautiful, self-love. So self-love is an example of kindness. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
My connection is bad. Let me try to let me try to solve this. My connection is very unstable today. Okay, so self-love, the example of massage is one example of self-love, but exists other possibilities. Second is empathy. When you have a healthy relationship with other people, understanding others' perspectives, others' emotions. Yeah, therapy is very good to develop empathy. Therapy session, cooperation. So you gave examples of groups that you are part of, Samba School, professional group, Quilombo Bilingue, a group of black women. This is very important to have this sense of cooperation. Yeah. And then next, community building. So how can we produce this community perspective? So the best way of producing community perspectives is producing community. So I gave the example. I'm a teacher. I made the group Professores Pretos, Black Teachers. I am a Black father. I made the group Black Parents. Yeah. So different groups that share goals. Yeah. So you can open groups, professional groups, personal groups, family groups, study groups. I don't know if you like to study together. If you like to study with other people, you can open study groups, for example. It's another powerful example of community. And this is Ubuntu philosophy, when you share your goals. Yeah. Collective action. This is very powerful too. Collaboration and shared responsibility. So this is very powerful when you have a social problem. And for Black people, this is we have many social problems. Yeah. For example, we have racism. We have difficulty in access to the English language. So we are here in Quilombo Bilingue. We have lot more problems. Unemployment, very difficult for Black people to find a job. So how can you help in the problem of unemployment? You can create groups of preparation to the job market. English, informatics, I don't know, PowerPoint, Word, job interview, how to prepare for a job interview, how to write a text, how to speak in public. Speaking in public is something very important too. So you can organize this group to help other people. This is the Ubuntu. Yeah, when you build community, that's why community building is so important. So I give the example, pais pretos presentes, Quilombo Bilingue, professores pretos, pais atípicos, yeah, so groups that are parts of my reality. So Ubuntu Somé, in the book Spirit of Intimacy, she said that it is a technology, an African technology to transform personal problems in community solution. People, this is very powerful. I will repeat because you can have an idea of a business from this. Transform personal problems in community solution. So my example, in 2018, I discovered that I was going to be a father. And I had no idea how to empower a Black child in African perspective, racial perspective. So what did I do? I looked for other Black fathers and other Black mothers to talk about empowerment of kids. And then we had this group, Vice President Present. So I transformed one personal pain, one personal difficulty, one personal question. How can I empower my son in a collective perspective? Pais Pretos Presentes discusses how we can overcome racism with our families, how we can promote self-respect, self-love, African principles, Adinka, Kwanzaa principles. How can we talk about African languages, Bantu, Kimbundu? Yeah, how we can approach African culture. So we discuss all these topics in Pais Pretos Presentes community. So this is a very potent technology. This is a cultural technology, transforming personal problems in community solutions. And these community solutions can be a company, let's say events, can be a business, can be a class, can be a workshop, can be what else? Ebook, I don't know, you can invent a way to reach people, to connect with other people, yeah? Oh, Joyce, your connection is breaking. Yeah, my connection is strange today too. Connection is a problem, yeah, nowadays. Okay, so and the third pillar, mutual support. This is very powerful. How can you support other people? People, the word support is a false positive, okay? Because it looks like suportar in Portuguese, but it is not, yeah? Support is not suportar, okay? Support is dar support, yeah? Help, assist, um, follow, okay? So this is to support in English, right? So you need to support people in different areas of life. So when we were studying, analyzing, listening, and relating with other Black people, Pais Pretos Presentes, we saw that there are three areas that are the biggest pains in Black families. So number one is self-development. We don't have information about self-development. Our parents don't talk to us about self-development. So we don't have background about this. Second biggest pain we saw is professional planning. We don't plan, Black people normally don't plan their profession. They just find the first job that appears and they start working because in many cases, Black people have a lot of financial difficulties. So if you have financial problems, you have an urgency to make money. And if you have urgency to make money, you don't have time to finish university to start working. You have to just start. And then most Black people work with things that are not connected to their talent, to their um, inclinations, to their spiritual direction. And this is complicated. And the third point, the third thing Black people usually have is parental education. We have no parental education usually. Normally, I don't know you, but nobody in my family stopped to talk to me about how to raise a son, how to prepare my son for life. My mother never talked about this with me. My father never had a conversation with me about how to prepare a son for the challenges in life, how to talk to a boy, how to discuss sex life, for example, with a son. Nobody talks about this. So normally, Black people don't have time for this. Parental education, parental guidance, parental direction. We don't have this type of training. Our families normally don't give this assistance. So these are three huge areas that Black people need community. Communities for self-development, communities for professional planning, and communities for wow, I think there is a sharing. And then we have the next point is the, let me see if I can share. Okay, conflict resolution. Community, you have to be open and honest dialogue, and this is difficult because honest dialogue, you have to be open to the other, understanding, forgiveness, reconciliation is another problem too, because reconciliation nowadays is difficult because people don't forgive others. Ubuntu is connected with conflict resolution. Nowadays, we have a job, mediação de conflitos, is a new job, and this job is based on Ubuntu philosophy. So it's very important for us to talk to other people. For example, when you are angry with a person, talk with people in the moment of anger, or you prefer to wait until you relax, and after some time, you talk to the person.
When I was younger, I used to stay if I was drunk. Nowadays, I used to wait and get calm, and after I try some solution.
Fantastic, Joyce. Okay. And people, do you go to therapy? Do you have a therapy session? Psychotherapy, cognitive therapy, any type of therapy?
Yes, yes, I do. I have
Ah,
to.
Me
wow.
too.
Otherwise, I could get crazy, and was curious because I I found I had like I forgot how to say in English, but the TDAH, how can I say in English? Sorry,
ADHD.
ADHD. Yes. So now I understand everything. Now I understand also about it, what you say, we don't trust in ourselves, and maybe we don't feel like sufficient to share what we know, but everyone knows something and can share and can participate and make it as a community also. So you open my mind, talk about that. That was so great. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So ADHD.
ADAD. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because it's a very big name. My God,
Yeah.
anxiety and hyperactivity
Yeah.
disorder. Wow.
Now
I
I understand everything, and I understood my past. I understood the difficulties I had. So now I can control better myself,
mm,
and I can live without therapy. I can live without. I think no one could live without it, because they
exactly.
know how to talk, they know about everything, they know how to make you move your life in the right way.
Mhm.
Stop your thinkings, and I'm so glad. Thanks God. I already did like in a few hours. It's
Excellent.
so
That's
exciting. That's incredible.
fantastic. Okay, people. So the name is ADHD, and the signification is anxiety disorder and hyperactivity disorder. Yeah, and in Portuguese, TGH, TGAH, TGAH. That's it. Now, next slide, talking about Ubuntu principles. We have this very challenging point that is the leadership. Because the leadership in English, normally, we have a tendency to believe that leadership is to be in front of everybody. And this is not the African perspective. The leader is not in front of everybody. The leader is in the center of everybody. Is inside the group. So the leader is equal. So there is not an idea of difference in power. It's difference in influence because everybody is influenced by the leader, but the leader is also influenced by the group so that he can respect or they can respect the people they are leading. So first thing, you have to lead Ubuntu values to inspire and motivate people. And how do you do this? Exactly by stimulating collaboration. So, for example, if you are married, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, it is important that everybody has the same power in the family structure, in the relationship. So, this model, very popular in Brazil, that the man is the leader and the woman is submissive, doesn't work because if a woman doesn't feel respected in the relationship, she will not collaborate, cooperate, and feel self-loved. So they should have equal, uh, not equal, not equal power, but equal responsibilities, equal perspectives. Because power is different. Sometimes one has more economic power because has a higher salary, or emotional power. Normally, the woman has more emotional power than the man because men are usually very nervous, very, irritated, and the women are more focused, are more uh, self-centered. So the power is not usually balanced, but respect, faith, they should all be equal in a relationship. And then you have empathy, understanding the needs and perspectives of others. So it is very difficult to understand what other persons are feeling. So we have to ask the people, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? In relationships, people don't usually have this type of conversation. Do you ask your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife how they are feeling? Do you have this habit or this tradition of stopping to say, to ask, how are you feeling today? Do you do this with your partners?
I used to say how it's going,
Ah,
not
okay.
about the feelings, exactly the feeling.
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah. perfect. It is powerful. Yeah, it's a way of doing this because we don't have these habits. Yeah, we normally just go with the flow. Yeah, we push life and we don't stop to give time and space for people to express their feelings. And this is very necessary in healthy relationships. Yeah, so this is a very important point we are discussing. And the final one is the most difficult for Brazilians, service. Because in colonial cultures, like the Brazilian, for example, we have a tendency to consider service as inferiority. We have an idea, a perception that only inferior people serve. But African philosophy, Ubuntu perspective, explains that service is the purpose of life. We are here in this planet to serve other people. And this is normally very difficult for us to understand because we have a tendency to think that serving is being inferior. Yeah, so this is difficult. Okay, then next, education. The connection between Ubuntu and education. So Ubuntu promotes inclusion and participation among people. So first, respect. We have to value individual differences. And this is important because in our culture, normally we have a tendency to see difference as problems. So the idea is, do you reject, repel, and avoid people who are different from you? Or no, the contrary, you try to approach, you try to get together and get closer with people who are different from you. So do you have a fat friend, gay friend, uh, transgender friend, white, white friend? Do you have people who are different from you in your social circle or no? Only similar people.
I have a lot of diversity in my life.
Wow, that's it. Yeah, diversity is key. Yeah, very necessary. Second point, inclusion. Creating a welcoming space for everybody. People should feel welcome, should feel okay to get closer, get connected with you. Yeah. So this is very important, very necessary, and essential. Yeah, if you want to live Ubuntu in practice in your daily life. And the third point is collaboration. We talked about this, working together with other people. In our society, we have a tendency to be very much isolated. So normally we don't live in connection with other people. It's very common for people to be alone in their lives. So that's why it is very important and necessary to connect with other people. Connecting with others is essential, yeah, in this perspective. And the final point is community, building a sense of belonging. So we talked about this samba school, capoeira circle, jongo group, yeah, um, study groups, communities. It's very important to be part of the groups in general. Groups of fathers, mothers, I don't know, professionals. So be part of a group. So this is the idea of Ubuntu. Yeah. And then penultimate, sustainability. Sustainability is the ability of renewing yourself without finishing, without ending your resources. So the basis of sustainability is preservation. We have to preserve the environment. We have to preserve our connections. We have to preserve what we have in life. Very much necessary. We have to preserve all the resources we have. This is really, really necessary and not very common. People don't have this habits of preserving, yeah, their relationship. So this is a pillar in Ubuntu perspective. And the last, conservation. So natural resources. Time is an example of a natural resource. Yeah, preserve your time. Don't spend your time, for example, watching lots of seasons of series, for example, yeah, and not connecting with people. Connecting with people is very necessary. Your family, your friends, your social group, people who work with you, always be connecting. So this is basic, yeah, to live Ubuntu. So we separated 4 meetings to talk about Ubuntu. Today is only an introduction. We have 3 more meetings. First meeting will be Ubuntu. Next meeting will be Ubuntu and self-development. How can you develop yourself with Ubuntu? This is next class. Other conversation class will be Ubuntu and professional planning. This is another topic very difficult for people because they normally don't think about it. How can I plan my professional life using Ubuntu? I have many powerful examples about this. How my professional life is changing all the time with Ubuntu philosophy. Now, for example, this year, my last project is writing books. This year, I wrote 3 books using this philosophy. I wrote a book of parenting, a book of education, a book of Black fathers, um, and another book with education in a project that I work. So I'm doing this movement of community building using my situation, the situations that I live in my life. So I write books, I give, for example, master class, and then you transform your situations in community solutions. You transform your situations in services or in a company. For example, you can transform your personal situation in different things to improve your life. Yeah, so this is the perspective we are talking about here. Okay, and the third class will be Ubuntu and parent or parental education. How can you promote your family using Ubuntu? Okay, so this will be the topic of our free next class. Ubuntu and self-development, Ubuntu and professional planning, and Ubuntu and parental education. Okay, my friends, so this is our goal for the next 2 meetings. Any questions? Do you have questions, comments about Ubuntu philosophy? Do you think that Ubuntu philosophy is difficult or easy to put in practice? How do you see this after this reunion we had? Is it difficult, easy, so?
Teacher,
Yeah.
I'm the street. I don't know, but I think that Ubuntu is amazing. I'm very happy about this. And I'm excited the next class about this.
Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, so I will prepare the materials to share with you. In the next class, we will talk about Ubuntu and personal self-development. Yeah, so this will be our next meeting. Any questions? Any comments? Can we finish? No question. Let me open the chat here. No question. So I will put this material in the Google Classroom. Yeah, and the link this is the link to the material. Let me share with you. If you want to read more, if you want to get closer to this topic, so this is the link. Okay, so I put the link in the chat, and then you can read more when you have the time. Okay, so Feel free if you want to share with other people, no problem. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint. Okay, my friends, so see you next Thursday. I hope you have a great evening. See you.
Thank you, teacher.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
teacher.
guys. Welcome.
Bye-bye.
See you. Goodbye.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye bye.
Goodbye.